So today we'll begin with the concept of revenue. All right. So it's an important concept in your foundation, and a lot of questions are asked where from revenue uh, with regard to the relationship between marginal revenue, total revenue, and average revenue, and their relationship again collectively to the elasticity of demand. All right. So before we go in any further, let me have an important announcement for you guys. So you can watch every YouTube session and every special session on Unacademy for free, but for that you have to subscribe it, and there are a lot of options available wherein you can directly ask the question by raising hand. You can type in your doubts, and all the doubts will be taken care of in the live session. And obviously every faculty will also give you the written up notes in the class. Additionally, you will also be provided by summary notes and practice questions. Clear? So there is a special offer right now which is going on, and a special discount which is now only valid for 2 more days. So it means you are getting a 10% discount on whichever course you subscribe to, whether it's CA Foundation Plus or Iconic subscription, wherein initially the regular price came down to 16,000 rupees per month for 12 months. Sorry, 16,000 rupees for 12 months, which has been reduced to 14,400. So per month average comes to 3040 for the CA Foundation plus 12 month subscription, and for 24 months from 22,000 has been reduced to 19,800. So you're getting a discount of 4180. You're getting a discount of 10% discount, and so average monthly subscription that you have to pay, it will be 4180. That will boil down to average monthly expenditure for you for this particular course. And if you take a CA Foundation Iconic, wherein one-to-one interaction with the faculty is available, specialized notes are available, mock test correction and everything, which it's an add-on on the plus subscription. So for 12 months, which was initially available at 35,000, is now available at only 31,500. So that's the special price is now 10% off. So now you have to pay only 6650 per month, right? And for 24 months it will come down to 11, you are saving basically 11,020 rupees for 24 months of subscription. So again, the for Foundation Plus you are saving 3040 for 12 months and 4180 for 24 months, and for Iconic you are saving 6650 for 12 months and 11,020 for the 24 month subscription. You can get extra 10% off if you use the code Yashas Live. So you only two days are remaining, so you have to register before 18th of September. Additionally, there is also a scholarship going on. When you have to enroll, you can enroll for it for free, wherein a corpus of 1 crore has been allocated to provide scholarship to the deserving students. All right, clear? It's a part of the Mega Combat. So now let's go on to the concept of revenue. Now revenue, when I say revenue, what do I mean is the total income of the business. Now revenue is different from profit. From the total revenue, if I deduct the cost of production, what you get is the profit part, and if you deduct the profit, you get the cost of production. So if I have to write total revenue or TR, that will be price per unit into number of units sold. So I can write it as P into Q. That will be your TR. Now what is average revenue? Average revenue is the revenue per unit of output. Alright, average revenue is the revenue per unit of output. So when I divide total revenue by the level of output, so when I have to, if I want to get average revenue, or AR, then what I have to do is divide total revenue by Q, that is the quantity or level of output. Now don't you think total revenue, I can also write it as price into Q, which is divided by Q. So if I cancel out Q and Q, what is left with is P. So I can also say that average revenue is nothing but equals to price, AR equals to P. Then we have what is known as marginal revenue. So marginal always means a change of 1. It means by how much is the change in my total revenue if the output changes by 1 unit. So marginal revenue or MR, if I have to figure out, it will be changes in total revenue divided by changes in output or changes in quantity. All right. So I can write it as delta TR by delta Q. All right. Or I can also write it as TR of N minus TR of Nth minus 1. Now many students say, sir, is average revenue always be equals to price? So let's take a numerical example and very simple logical numerical example. Let's say the price per unit of any commodity is rupees 20 and the number of units sold, that is quantity, is 100 units. Now if I have to calculate total revenue, what I have to do? That is price per unit into number of units sold, right? So that will be rupees 20 into 100 units. So don't you think I'll get here as rupees 2000? That will be your TR. Now for average revenue, AR, what did we write? AR is TR by Q. You see, that's what we have written here. AR is TR by Q. So I can write 2000 is my total revenue and TR is AR is TR by Q. So it means here how many units are produced? 100, sorry. So if I do this, what I'll get is rupees 20. So don't you think this is equals to the price? It will always be the case. AR will always be equals to price. Now let's figure out a relationship between TR, MR and AR. Now let's say price, here quantity, TR, MR and AR, or let's write first MR, AR, then MR. Right. Now you see here, let's say price of the commodity is rupees 10 and when the price is rupees 10, I'm not able to sell any units. Do you think when a business is not able to sell unit because the price is higher than what people are willing to pay, will I shut down my business and wind up everything? No, because I know there is something that is known as law of demand. So what I'll do is ride along the law of demand. I will decrease the price, I'll give discount to the people. So let's say I reduce the price from rupees 10 to rupees 9 and I find out that 2 units, I'm taking simple figures, could be 200 units, 2 million units or whatever, 2 units I'm able to sell. So it means what is my total revenue now? That is 9 into 2, TR is price into quantity, no? So that will be 18. Average revenue is TR by quantity. So 18 divided by 2 will be 9. And MR is change in TR. Change in TR is how much? 18 minus 0 divided by here 2 minus 0. So it means 18 minus 0 is 18, 2 minus 0 is 2, then again 9. So it means MR and AR will start from the same point. Now for every business, there are 2 ways to increase profitability of a business. One is to increase price. But the problem is when the demand is elastic and you increase price, then the quantity demanded will fall by a higher proportion than the increase in your price. And you may start incurring losses. If not losses, it means revenue will go down. The better way is to give discounts to people. Because when you give discounts to people, the demand increases and so you are charging little lower price per unit, but your volume of sale is high, so your aggregate revenue, that is the total revenue, is going to increase. So let's say that's the purpose of every business, is to maximize profit. So I will decrease the price to rupees 8. When I decrease the price, I find out that I am able to sell now 3 units. So it means my total revenue is again increasing. Any addition to total revenue is a good thing because it will help me cover a lot of my fixed factors. So 8 3 are 24. TR is increasing, and also remember one thing, that TR is nothing but summation of MR. TR is nothing but summation of MR. So when you add up all the MRs, what you get is the TR. So successive MR, if I add, I'll get a TR. So now what is the change in total revenue? 24 minus 18, that is 6. What is the change in quantity? 3 minus 2, that is 1. 6 by 1 is 6. And then average revenue, sorry, that is your average marginal revenue. And average revenue is 24 divided by 3, that will be 8. So marginal revenue is positive. It means this additional unit that I produce is going to help me earn 6 rupees more than previously. Correct? Then I further go down because I want to maximize my profit. For that I have to maximize my revenue. So I decrease the price further, because till now decreasing price has benefited me in terms of increase in the revenue. So now if I decrease the price from rupees 8 to 7, I find out I am able to sell 4 units. So it means my total revenue now increases from 24 to 28. It is increasing at a diminishing rate, but it is increasing. Until the time TR is increasing, and we know that TR is a summation of MR. So it means TR is increasing, it means positive values are added to TR. It means MR is positive. So that will be 4, 28 divided by 4, 28 minus 24, that will be 4. Then 4 divided by 4 minus 3, that is 1. So marginal revenue is 4. And average revenue is 28 by 4, that is 7. You see, AR is coming, which is equal to the price the moment sale increases. Right or wrong? So next I will continue to decrease price because my revenue has increased. So when I decrease the price now further, 5 units are sold. So it means 30. So it means again my marginal revenue will be how much? 30 minus 28, that is 2 divided by 5 minus 4. So that will be 2 again here. It means 2 more is added. Alright. So it means 30 divided by 5, average revenue is 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then when I further reduce it to 5, alright, and the output increases to 6. Now it is 30. It means now my total revenue do not increase. I will apply the brake because this is the signal that is given to me that I should not decrease the price any further, because the moment I decrease the price from 6 to 5, there is increase in quantity demanded, but the increase in quantity demanded is not increasing my total revenue. That will neutralize the effect of decrease in price. So up till 6th unit, when I was decreasing the price, my total revenue was increasing, which was setting off more than proportionately the discount that I am giving. So due to which I was decreasing the price. But now when I decrease the price, I find out my total revenue is not increasing. So that gives me the decision that will force me to make the decision that you should not go beyond this point. So it means, what is my marginal revenue? I've told you marginal revenue is nothing. When you sum up, when you find out aggregate total revenue, that will be summing up of marginal revenue. So that will be 0 here because we have not added anything to the total revenue, and average can never be 0. So that will be 5. So when I said that marginal revenue is nothing, total revenue is nothing but summation of marginal revenue, you see no, here from this point onwards, you see 18, 24 plus 4 you get 28, 28 plus 2 you get 30, 30 plus 0 you get 30. Alright, that's why we said. I think now it's fine. So my marginal revenue here now it will become 28 minus 30 is minus 2 divided by 7 minus 6, so it will be minus 2 here. What you get is the marginal revenue, and average 28 by 7, what you will get is 4. Clear? Is some problem with the connectivity? Alright, now let's understand one fact here. As we have understood in total outlay method that elasticity of demand will affect the total expenditure of the consumer. So there were 3 situations that we studied. What were these 3 situations? That when the price increases or decreases, what is the effect when the elasticity is E equals to 1, and when it is E more than 1, and when it is E less than 1. So we have understood that when E is more than 1, alright, let me explain it to you here. Let's say when E is equals to 1, or let's take it first, E more than 1, then we know that when the price decreases, let's say by 10%, hypothetically I am taking this figure, the quantity demanded will increase by more than 10%, let's say increases by 15%. Now we know that expenditure of consumer and revenue earned by the seller have a direct relationship. It means the more the consumer spends, the more the seller earns. The less the consumer spends, the less the seller earns, and if the consumers do not spend anything, the sellers will not earn anything. Alright, the sellers will not earn anything. So in this case, what happens here? Price is falling down by 10%. I'm giving a discount of 10%. Quantity demanded increases by 15%. It means when people are given a discount of 10%, they are spending 15% of their money. Alright, it means the first extra 10% when they buy, the 10% of savings due to decrease in price by 10% will finance that purchase. But additionally 5% if I'm buying more, it means I have to use some additional amount of money. So can't I say that total expenditure of the consumer increases, and when total expenditure increases, it means total revenue of seller also increases. Now if I go back to the diagram, to the table here, you see up till this point, as I was decreasing the price, my total revenue up till this point was increasing. You see, it means here what is happening is that with the fall in price, the total revenue of sellers increased, and when total revenue of the seller is increasing due to fall in the price, don't you think I can say that demand is more than unitary elastic, that is E greater than 1 elastic demand I have? Then I also mentioned that now you see here, next situation, when E is equals to 1, it means when the price decreases for the consumers, they are saving 10%, but largely we see that when E is equals to 1, more or less the change in quantity demanded will be very close or equal to the change in price. So quantity demanded increases by 10%. So I am saving 10%, I am using this 10% to buy 10% extra. So consumption is increasing, but this extra 10% that I am consuming, do I have to spend any additional money out of my pocket? No, I am spending the money that I am saving. So my consumption is increasing, but my expenditure is not increasing, because whatever additional I am saving, I am using this 10% of saving to buy 10% extra. So it means total expenditure of consumer here, it remains constant, it doesn't change. So it means when the consumer is spending the same amount of money, then the total revenue of the seller will also remain constant. Total revenue of seller also do not change. Think in this way, a seller gives 10% discount, he reverses the price by 10%. So he's taking a hit of 10%. Consumers reward the sellers by increasing the consumption by 10%. So it means his revenue will increase by 10%. It means I'm taking a hit of 10% and my revenue is increasing by 10%. It means I'm where I was before. So it means neither the revenue decreasing nor it is increasing. So you see, from this point to this point, between this point, alright, you see with the fall in price the total revenue do not increase, it remains 30. So can't I say that now, let me broaden this line here, alright. So we can say that with the fall in price, the TR do not change. It means demand is unitary elastic, that is E is equals to 1. And lastly, third situation was when E is less than 1. E is less than 1. When E is less than 1, what happens here? When the price decreases by 10%, sorry, quantity demanded will increase by 5%. It means I am saving as a consumer 10%, but only 5% of that 10% saving is used for additional consumption. It means my consumption is increasing, but I'm not using up all the money that I'm saving. So I'm spending less sum of money than before. It means the revenue of the seller is going to decrease. It means here total expenditure of consumer it decreases. So it means total revenue of seller also will fall, it will decrease. Think in this way, the sellers are giving a discount of 10%. It means they are taking a hit of 10%. But how much they are rewarded in terms of increase in sales? By only 5%. It means 5% of the discount that I had given. I had given 10, but 5% is the increase in the sales. So it means additional 5% of the discount, that is the burden, remains upon me in terms of decreased price. So that's why total revenue of the seller decreases. So it means here you see now, between this point and this point, what is happening? We can say that with the fall in price, total revenue also falls. It means we can say that demand is less than unitary elastic, or we can say inelastic. So E will be less than 1. Clear? So up till 6th unit, the total revenue was up till rupees 6, the total revenue was increasing as the price fell. So E will be more than 1. From 5th and 6th, alright, the decrease in price is not increasing the total revenue. So it means E will be equal to 0. And from 6th and 7th unit, with the increase in the sales is increasing, but the revenue is not increasing the way the price is falling. So it means E is less than 1. So when total revenue increases due to fall in price, it means consumers are responsive and they were rewarding me by buying more than the discount burden that I'm taking as a seller. But when E is equals to 1, it means my reward and cost is the same. I'm taking a 10% of hit or 20% of hit, and my sales is also increasing by 10 or 20%. Whatever is the fall in price in percentage terms, that much is the fall in, that much is the increase in demand in percentage terms. It means I'm where I was. Total revenue neither increases nor decreases. And when E is less than 1, it means what? As they decrease the price, then total revenue is increasing, but in lesser proportion. It means my revenue is going to fall. All right. So when I plot this into a diagram, you see it would look like this. The neighborhood diagram, you can see a relation between TR, AR and MR. Okay. Revenue, output in terms of quantity. So you see here AR is falling with the increase in the level of output, and MR is also falling, but MR fall is more sharper than AR. You see in the table also you can find out MR is falling more sharply compared to AR. Alright, clear? So AR and MR, they both are falling. Now at this point MR is equals to 0, and I've told you when MR is 0 and TR is a summation of MR, till the time MR remains positive, it means before this point, in all this point MR is remaining positive, no, because it is above the x-axis, right or wrong? It means till that point TR will increase, but once MR becomes 0, then everything will cease to, TR will not increase in during at that point. And when MR is negative, it means I've told you TR is a summation of MR, and MR is negative, is going to take away from TR, so TR will start to fall. Now total revenue cannot be negative, but a fall in revenue will lead to MR becoming negative. Likewise, average revenue cannot be negative or 0, because price cannot be 0 and price cannot be negative. But MR is 0 because MR determines the change in total revenue due to change in the level of output, and the change can be negative. So when I drop down a line here just to figure out where MR is 0, it's a line. This is again your revenue and output. You see TR is increasing and then it becomes constant for a while, it doesn't change, and then it starts to fall. This is your TR curve. That is your TR curve. So you see here, if elasticity of demand is E more than 1, it means TR is increasing. It means MR is positive. MR is falling, but it is positive. So can't I say here E will be more than 1? So when I draw any line, it will hit the point wherein MR is positive when I draw any of these lines, and TR is rising accordingly. Correct or not? Alright. But once here at this point TR is maximum, and it is tapering off, it means now the TR is not changing. Why TR is not changing? Because MR is 0, because increase in the benefit to the seller is equal to the decrease in terms of cost when he is decreasing the price. It means he is neither benefited nor he is losing, so his MR is 0, so it means TR is not changing. But beyond this point, what is happening? You see, when it will start to fall down, if I drop down a line here further, it means when MR becomes negative, TR will start to fall down, because TR is nothing but a summation of MR. Clear? So here again, here I can write TR is maximum, it means E at this point is equals to 1, and when TR becomes negative, sorry, when TR starts to fall down, then we can say that E is less than 1. Likewise, here also I can write here that E is more than 1. At the point when MR is 0, MR equals to 0, then I can say that E is equals to 1, and when MR becomes negative, then I can say at this point E is less than 1. So what you need to remember is some very simple things, very simple things. What is that? First of all, you must know that the elasticity. Alright, first of all, what question they can ask you from here? You see, when TR is increasing, MR and AR both are falling, but they remain positive. When TR is maximum, MR is 0. When TR starts to fall down, MR is negative. Clear? So let's write down these points, important points from where a lot of questions are direct question type questions are asked. Alright, so let's write it. When AR and MR, they are falling, when AR and MR they are falling, then AR and MR are falling, you have TR which is rising. Alright, clear? So remember why TR is increasing, because despite MR and AR are falling, they both remain positive. Both remain positive. Alright, both remain positive. Then we say that when TR is maximum, or we can say at this point you can write when TR is maximum, that is highest. At this point what is happening here, that MR will be equals to 0, AR cannot be 0, and when TR is falling, then I can say that MR is negative. MR is negative. And one of the important point that you must write here, that AR curve is also known as the demand curve of the consumer. Demand curve of the consumer. Reason being that AR is equals to price, and demand consists of two things: the ability to pay for a commodity and the willingness to buy at that commodity. So MU curve is also known as demand curve, and AR curve is also known as demand curve, because MU gives you the willingness to buy. If MU is 0, your willingness or desire to buy will also be 0. And according to the law of diminishing marginal utility, as you consume more and more units, the MR continues to decrease. Sorry, the MU continues to decrease, and eventually MU becomes 0. It means you are completely or totally satisfied, you don't want to buy anything else. So you will not be willing to spend. It means my willingness to buy is given by MU. So MU was known as demand curve. But AR is also known as demand curve. Why? Because only willingness or desire is not going to create demand. I need to have the money to pay for the goods and services. And my ability to pay depends upon the price of the commodity. And there is an inverse relation between price and quantity demanded. That's why AR curve is also known as the demand curve. But what the conclusion you can draw is that I've told you outlay method is very important to determine everything. That the total revenue of seller depends upon the elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand. How? three situations that we have discussed. That is, number one, we say when the demand is elastic. When the demand is elastic, that is E more than 1, then what happens when the demand is elastic? That is, if price is falling down by 10%, quantity demanded increases by 15%. It means I am giving as a seller a discount of 10%, but people are rewarding me by buying 15% of the commodity. Correct? It means people are spending more. From the people's perspective, they are getting a discount of 10%. They are using their 10% to buy extra, but they can buy only 10% extra. But they are not buying only 10% extra, but they are buying 15% extra. Alright. 15% extra. So it means what happens in this case? The total revenue increases if the demand is elastic. Secondly, when the demand is unitary elastic, that is E is equals to 1, then we know that when the price decreases by 10%, quantity demanded will increase by the same margin, that is 10%. It means from the consumer's perspective, you see, I'm getting a 10% discount, I'm buying 10% extra, I'm buying more, but I don't have to spend anything extra. It means expenditure remains same, so revenue of the seller will also remain same. From the revenues per seller's perspective, you see that I'm giving a discount of 10%, I'm receiving extra income of 10%, but the thing is, this extra income of 10% is going to be neutralized by the decrease in price. So in fact, I'm not earning anything extra. So it means what happens here, then what happens? Total revenue remain same, do not change. And third one, we know that when the demand is less than unitary elastic or inelastic, then what happens? If suppose price decreases by 10%, quantity demanded will increase by 5%. From the consumer's perspective, I'm saving 10%, but I'm buying 5% extra. It means from my saving of 10%, part of the savings I can use to buy 5% extra, but the other part of the saving is in my pocket. So it means my expenditure is going down. So it means revenue seller will also go down. You think from the seller's perspective, they're giving a discount of 10%. So they're taking a hit of 10%, but their revenue is only increasing by 5%. It means 5% is actually not the rise in revenue, but the fall in revenue. So it means here what happens in this case? In this case, the total revenue decreases. Now, many times they ask you question about MR and elasticity, marginal revenue and elasticity. So what we have known is that if you look at the diagram first, you see till the time MR is positive, it is because E is more than 1, and due to which a decrease in price is leading to increase in total revenue because MR is positive. It is falling, but it's positive. When E is equals to 1, MR is 0. Why MR is 0 and E equals to 1? Because decrease in price will lead to increase in the revenue by the same margin. Alright, so that's why I'm not getting anything extra. And when E is less than 1, here MR will be negative. Why? Because decrease in price is going to increase my total revenue. No, it is going to decrease my total revenue. It is going to decrease my total revenue. It means MR is negative. So relationship between MR and elasticity. relation between MR and elasticity. We know that when E is more than 1, that is elastic or more than unitary elastic, then MR will be positive. Alright, and in this case what happens? As the price decreases, total revenue increases. So when the decrease in price is increasing the total revenue, and total revenue is the summation of MR, then I can say MR is positive. Likewise, when E is equals to 1, that is unitary elastic, then MR will be 0. Why? Because in this case, when the price decreases, total revenue is remaining constant. It means when total revenue is constant, it means MR is equals to 0. Because had there been any positive value of MR, it would have gone to add to the TR. So if TR is not changing, it is remaining constant, it means because MR is 0. And lastly, when E is less than 1, that is inelastic demand, then what happens? MR will be negative. It means now when the price decreases, TR will also decreases, and the reason that the TR is falling, and we know that TR is a summation of MR and TR is falling, it means MR must be falling or must be negative. Now this thing can also be found out from a very easy equation. Alright, from a very easy and simple equation, and every time one question from this equation they ask you. So remember what we have covered today. From here you may end up getting 3 to 4 questions basically. So it's very important concept. So how we can figure out? We say that MR is equals to AR into E minus 1 by E. This is the formula. Now let's take assume figure here. Let's assume AR is rupees 10 for all cases. You take any positive value of AR, you can take 100, doesn't matter. So if suppose E is greater than 1, it means E is elastic. There is an elastic demand. So let's take the value of E as 2. You can take 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter, anything should be more than 1. You cannot take 1 or less, you have to take more than 1 and positive. So now if I have to find out MR, then what was the formula? AR into E minus 1 by E. We know that AR is rupees 10 minus 1. E is 1, E is 2 minus 1. The value of E we have taken 2 minus 1 divided by 2. So that will be rupees 10 into 2 minus 1 by 2, that will be half. So it means be rupees 5. So it means don't you get a positive value of MR? So we can say E positive. We can say from the formula we have seen. Now when E is equals to 1, here we'll have to take E equals to 1 only. So when I take E equals to 10, what will happen? MR will be what? Again AR, that is rupees 10 into E minus 1, that is 1 minus 1 by 1, E minus 1 by E. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 divided by 1, 0 divided by anything is 0, and multiplied by rupees 10, that will be 0. So can I say MR is equals to 0? So we say that when E is equals to 1, then MR will be equals to 0. Alright. And third one, Right. Third one, E is less than 1. So when E is less than 1, let's take the value of E to be 0.5. You have to take anything between the value of 1 and 0. You cannot take 1, you cannot take 0, you have to take more than 0 but less than 1. So let's take the value of E as 0.5. So now if I have to calculate MR, then what I have to do? Then again AR, that is rupees 10 into E minus 1, that is 0.5 minus 1 divided by 0.5. So that will be rupees 10 into 0.5 minus 1 is minus 0.5, minus 0.5 by 0.5 is minus 1. So minus 1, that will be minus 10 MR will be. So can I say that when E less than 1, it means MR will be, when MR is negative. Now remember one thing about the formula. The formula is that I've told you that MR is nothing but AR into E minus 1 by E. They can either give you the problem to solve and ask you what is the value of MR, or they can ask you which is the correct formula, alright, from the given formula, set of formulas. Sometimes what they do, AR with price. So the formula is rewritten as MR equals to price into E minus 1 by E, or P into E minus 1 by E. See, there is no difference between these two formulas, they are one and the same thing. AR is equals to price. So whether I write MR equals to AR into E minus 1 by E, or I write MR equals to price into E minus 1 by E, it means one and the same thing. Right? Clear? Now another problem is, now this is all about revenue. Another problem is basically students are not able to figure out that what is the relationship between the marginal cost and the average cost. What is the difference between AC or ATC and MC? Right, this is additionally I'm covering apart from the revenue here, because since we have a little bit of time left. So what is the relation between marginal cost and average cost, or you can call it as average total cost? What is the relationship? You see, marginal cost will affect the average cost, but it is not necessary that average cost, if it changes, it will affect the marginal cost. It means average cost will go in the same direction as the marginal cost, but vice versa is not possible. Alright, so let's take an example here. Let's say, how do you find out total average cost? Average cost is total cost divided by the total output. Let's say that the quantity here I'm producing 10 units of quantity, alright, and the total, let's say, let me take total cost of production is, let's say, 200 rupees 200. Now I have to calculate what is known as marginal cost and average cost. We know that marginal cost is change in total cost by change in output. Average cost is total cost by output. So if suppose I increase the level of output to 20, so here at this point you see at 10 level of output, marginal cost I cannot find out, because to find out marginal cost you should have the change in the output, and at 10 units I cannot find out what is the previous output level, it's not given, so I will put a dash here. But average cost I can find out. Average cost, it means if I am incurring a total cost of 200 to produce 10 units, it means 1 unit I can produce at 20 rupees, that is 200 by 10, so rupees 20 is my average cost. Now let's say output increases from 10 to 20 units and total cost increases to rupees 600. You see, total cost has increased at an increasing rate, because if 10 units can give me, I can produce at 200 rupees, 20 I should be producing at 400 rupees, but it is increasing by 600 rupees. It means total cost is increasing at an increasing rate. It means there is a diminishing returns to scale that is happening. So if I have to calculate marginal cost, you see what is the marginal cost when I compare with the average, what will happen? So you see here marginal cost is 600 minus 200, that is 400, divided by 20 minus 10, that is 10. So 400 by 10, that is rupees 40. Now tell me, this marginal cost when I produced more, is it more than the previous average cost or not? Yes, it is more. So if I take the average here, you see 600 divided by 20, it will become rupees 30. So what we can conclude in this point here, that when total cost increases at an increasing rate, then what happens? Marginal cost also increases, and when marginal cost is rising, it means average cost will also increase. All right. Now let's take another situation. So we know that when marginal cost is increasing, it will increase the average cost. Another situation, if I take again Q, total cost, marginal cost and average cost. Suppose output was 10 units of output, rupees 200 is the total cost, marginal cost I don't know, rupees 20 here as previously done. But now when I increase the level of output to 20, there is increasing returns to scale that is happening, and total cost increases but at a diminishing rate. It means for 10 units if I am incurring 200, 20 units should be 400, but if I incur only rupees 300, it means it is increasing but at a diminishing rate. So now if I find out what is the marginal cost, see 300 minus 200, that is 100, divided by 20 minus 10, that is 10, 100 by 10 is 10. So don't you think this marginal cost is lower than the average cost previously that we've got? So if I take the average right now, you see average will be lower than rupees 20. So 300 divided by 20 is rupees 15. So what we can conclude here, that when total cost increases at a diminishing rate, then what happens? Marginal cost also decrease, and as a result when marginal cost is falling, it means average cost will also fall. It means we have found out that wherever the marginal cost goes, the average will follow. If marginal cost is increasing, average cost will also increase. If marginal cost is decreasing, average cost will also decrease. So in the question, if they ask you that which of the following is correct with regard to the relationship between marginal cost and average cost, then option they say marginal cost increases, average cost is also increasing. Marginal cost decreases, average cost also decreases. Both A and B, the answer will be both A and B. But they can also ask you a question that average cost is increasing or decreasing, what is happening? What can you say about the marginal cost? You say marginal cost may be increasing, decreasing or remaining constant, nothing can be stated. Because when average cost increases, it is not necessarily, it means that marginal cost will also increase. Let's take an example here. You suppose again quantity of output that I am producing is 10. Total cost I am incurring is rupees 200. Now marginal cost, I don't know. Average cost is rupees 20 per unit. Now is there a possibility that my total cost increases is despite the fact there is no change in output? Yes, it can happen. It can increase or decrease because due to inflation the cost of production may increase. Due to taxes the purchase procurement cost will increase. Anything can happen. So it means due to inflation what happens, the total cost of production increases from 200 to 300 rupees for 10 units. Now the thing is, I know that average has increased. Why? Because 300 divided by 10 is now rupees 30 per unit. But can I calculate the marginal cost here? Because when I go to calculate the marginal cost, I have to do what? Change in total cost by change in the level of output. I can find out change in total cost is by 100. But can I find out change in output? There is no change in output. So it means marginal cannot be calculated. Likewise, it could also be a possibility things will become cheaper. Government is giving subsidy, taxes have been lowered, price of petrol prices and diesel prices come down, that will decrease my carriage inward and outward cost and other indirect cost. So it means now I am able to produce at 150 rupees 10 units of output. Again, if I try to find out what is my average cost, the average cost is rupees 15. You see it's falling 150 divided by 10. But can I find out marginal cost here? Because for marginal cost, again, you have to find out what is the change in total cost. We know that the change in total cost is 150. But is there a change in the level of output? No. So it means here we can see that average cost may increase or decrease, but it cannot be stated in such a case that marginal cost will also increase or decrease. So if they ask you that average cost is rising, what is true with the marginal cost? Marginal cost is also rising, false. Marginal cost is falling, false. Marginal cost is not changing. Nothing can be said. Alright, none of the above. But if they ask you from the perspective of marginal cost, then you have to say that yes, if marginal cost is increasing, average cost will increase. If marginal cost is decreasing, average cost is will decrease. So remember this point. It's very, very important, and this is one concept that affects students when they have to determine whether the total cost is increasing at a diminishing rate, increasing rate, or at a constant rate. So when we come with the next sessions, maybe it will be related to the long run average cost curve and internal economics, external economics, from where a lot of questions are again asked. All right. So if you have not yet subscribed to Unacademy channel, please do so as quickly as possible so that you cannot miss out any chances. And also remember to subscribe to the faculties, each faculties that you like or that you have subscribed for, if you have after subscribing to Unacademy. Because when you subscribe to any faculties, anything, any topic covered, whether in the special session or in the regular sessions, that is plus sessions, if the schedule is coming up, you will be intimated before time so that you cannot miss anything. All right, so we'll meet again. Take care, bye bye, and have a nice time.